Good evening, Nuka Marine here. Welcome to the final lesson of remembering the kana, and also a final lesson of remembering the katakana. It's been about roughly 6 hours, give or take some minutes here and there. Some lessons that were in excess of what was given in the book by James Hayzick, but what I thought was important from what I learned from my students. So, since it's the last 30 minutes, and again, I would stress after you finish these lessons, if there's any questions that you think have came up into you upon presentation of this, please go back and, if you do review the videos, ask questions in the comments or send an email. Reason being is that if you had a problem or a question concerning the series, other persons may also have had a question concerning the series. And it's easier to answer it once that first person asks a question, then others will ask questions, and then and it usually snowballs from there, and we get a pretty good idea of what is and is not helping. And any changes I make, I probably will not re-record these videos, but I can add annotations, or like I did with the first couple of sets concerning the glottal stop versus the voice mark, and I will go on from there. And if there's any egregious errors, then of course re-record the whole thing, no problem. With that said, let's begin. Let's bring up the writing pad right there. And the first character we're going to concentrate on, again, this last lesson, there's nothing connecting any of the characters themselves. So we'll go on almost individually, and we'll try to work with keywords, stress them more to the point here. In addition to, I'll cover in a few more characters when it comes to the unusual voiced mark used with katakana that you won't see used with hiragana to simulate foreign pronunciations. So our first character, so let's see if you remember the story for this. This was actually Uncle Sam saying I, and that's the finger going down, then this was the representing of the wave sign, I want you, come over here, and this was representing the tying of bow around the finger, want you. So that was I want you. In this case, though, for the you, what I want you to remember is U-boat, as in the German Unterseeboot or undersea boat, the submarine, German submarine, which is called the U-boat. Now, the U-boat, like any submarine, is pretty simple. What a first stroke is going to represent the periscope. So we're going to go across and down. That's pretty simple. That is the periscope of the submarine. And the periscope going across and down rises above, and the second stroke will represent the sea. And that right there is the U-boat. Fairly simple. You may see it where it carries more to the, instead of attaching it center like you did on the first one, actually it attaches closer to the end on the right side. Some words that use this. U-boat. Some words that use it. You, mo, you more. That's like humor or humor. And it does translate exactly, humor. So yumo wa zero desu, like he has no humor. Second word, ni. And since this is a diphthong, so this is new, su, news, or news. And we'll pause there and go on to the next character. Okay, first character down, 8 more to go. So that's you, as in U-boat. Next character we're going to cover is E. Now, in here it was kind of like dot the E, and that was the first stroke representing the length of the I, and the second stroke sort of like a curve representing the dot. We're going to follow that same concept here. What I want to do is think of, when you hear E, think of dot the E. So the first stroke will represent the dot. So almost, or maybe instead of dot the E, drop the E. So the first represents the drop. Okay, and the second stroke will represent the stem of the E. Right there, and that would be E. E. Some words that use this. Su, spe, Spain. Spain. Spain, the country. Spain. Spain. And a fun word to learn. A. I. Ai. Ice. Ku. Ice ku. U. Ice kuru. I. Ice cream. Stretch it out. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream. So Spain ice cream. Okay, 2 characters down. Let me pause and go on to the next character. Okay, 2 characters, the U and the E. Next character, we'll follow on the little concept. So first one, dealing with the 7 dwarves and their rowboat. Ro. Rowboat going in 7 dwarves going in 2 directions. But in this case, what we want to think of is, when we hear ro, think of ro eggs. Okay, so roe eggs being fish eggs. And fish eggs being a lot of eggs here. Now, think it's about circles in Japanese or in kanji itself, or in kanji. Katakana hiragana comes from kanji, if you think about it, is that a lot of the circular motions become squared off in kanji. So, and that would be the case with the katakana. Everything gets kind of squared off. So when we think of roe eggs, they're going to be not round but square. So here we're going to go for the steps for the roe eggs. So we're going to do 1, we're going to do 2, 3. And that right there, this last one, is the ro eggs. Roe eggs. Ro. Think of you. Think of the first stroke of you. Second stroke. You kind of see it represented here in the last 2 strokes. Although the last stroke goes a little further at the bottom. And you'll see this replicated in a few other strokes once we get to them. So here we have ro eggs. Square eggs, if need be. Some words that use this. Ro, Roma, or Roman, or Roma. Roman, if we need be. In fact, let me add real quick. Roma G. Roman characters. It basically using English characters to represent Japanese words or pronunciation. Next word, country if you would. Ba. Baru. Se. Baru se. Ro. Baru sereo. Na. Barcelona. So we have Romaji or Romaji, Barcelona, Spain. Okay, I think that was the, was it 92 Olympics, Summer Olympics? Let's go on to the next character. Alright, 3rd character down. 4th character will be, probably remember this one, rather silly story about it, but yo. So tie the boomerang to the puppy tails, throw it up in the air, and throw egg yolks at it. In this case, the key word will be when you hear yo for katakana, you're going to think of yoke. And that's oxen yoke. So for oxen yoke, if you need to, just think of that right there, which would be an oxen yoke on a wagon, and you'd have cattle there. I'm not sure. I'm not a very good artist here. Okay, so the yoke will be on the necks of the cattle, so the cattle can pull the cart or the wagon for the wagon train. Yoke. For here, we're going to do is, let me draw it for you first. So first stroke is sort of like the second stroke of ro, or you, if you need be. So right there. The second stroke will be right there in the middle, and then the third stroke will be like the bottom of ro. So right there, and then we're ending with yo. Reason why I'm saying think of yoke is if you picture the yo of a yoke in the right here, there's a little cattle in the yoke, and there they are pulling the wagon train. Yoke. And like I said, you can picture this with ro, do, or with the u. And also, well, let me just finish up with yo. So the strokes, there's some similarities with the strokes here. But this is O because of round eggs. This is U because it looks like a U-boat, the periscope coming up out of the water. And this is Yo because it's the oxen yolk. Some words it uses. Yo, character. Again, another country or continent in this case. Yo, yo, yo. Glottal stop. Pa, Europa, Europa, or Europe. And next word. Probably already know this. Ni, new, new. And this isn't news, by the way. This is new. York, New York. Stretch it out, New York. And you probably guessed it by now. So New York, New York, New York, New York. All right, there's that character. Pause again and go on to the next. All right, our fifth character. Probably remember this. Let me scroll down a bit. That was the little splinter or stick in the big toe. Toe. When you hear toe for katakana, what I want you to hear when you hear toe instead of big toe, I want you to hear is toe rope. Toe rope. Now, a tow rope, just think of like a big, sort of like a, you got a nice little truck here, right there, and maybe some wheels. But on the back would be a little post right there, and to hitch a rope to. And you can think of that also, it could be a pole here to connect the rope, little rope there, and then maybe there's a little pole there holding it. So, when you hear toe, think tow rope. Alright, so first stroke is going to be when you hear a tow rope, you got this tow rope, you want to pull something out of the ground. First stroke is going to represent what you're pulling out of the ground. And the second stroke is going to represent the actual thing you're going to hook the tow rope to. It's just a nice little downward stroke, going down a little bit, not too far. And right there you're done. That is tow, tow, tow rope, tow, tow. Words it uses. Hear tow, think tow rope. Let's go with the city. To. Do. Toro. Toronto. 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 Toronto, Canada. And a food group. Yo. Yo. Gu. Yogu. Ru. Yoguru. To. Yogurutto. Yogurt. Yoguruto. Alright. That should be about 5 characters. Let me pause. Go on for the 6th. Alright. There's our 5 characters. You, I, do, yo, and to. Next character we're going to go. Now this, when I was teaching it, it's kind of an abstract little story I thought. But that was he, as in heel, which is taking a handlebar. Imagine a handlebar, and then with your heels, you bent it into something that looks like he. And then, of course, a silly joke. The he here is, again, heel, if you would. Heel. But what I want to do is imagine it actually is a heel. Now, the first stroke for this is going to start going from right to left. So this is the first stroke. It may also be a little downward stroke. But anyway, it's going from right to left. Second stroke is that represents like the shoelace or the tongue of a boot heel. The tongue of a boot, and you think of a heel, think of boot heel. All right, the second stroke. So there's the first stroke. Second stroke, looks like the heel of the boot, or heel of the foot, or heel of the shoe. Same thing as if it was slightly downward stroke. Same idea. Looks almost the same. Hard to distinguish. That is he. So here, he, think heel. The tongue and the heel itself. Some words it uses. He. Also could be B or P. He. Hyo. Hue. All works. Bi, bi, ru, biru, beer, biru. If that wasn't there, right there, it would be biru, which would be building, but biru is beer. And another beverage coming up, just give it away. Ko, ko, hi, he, kohi, kohi, or coffee, kohi. Okay, that's the sixth character. Again, three more to go in addition to the final bits on voice marks for foreign words and final closing thoughts. Alright, our sixth character, after yo and to, see if this reminds you of something. So that's say, which is not what we're worrying about, but this will feed into what I'm going to do this for a reason. But anyway, the actual character we're going to work with, sa. Now, before, I'm not sure what I'd said. I think it was sock and with hair braid and whatnot. What I tell the students later now is I think of this as being King Solomon. That's the dagger of King Solomon. The slice little curve is the curve of the arm of King Solomon holding the baby. He's going to cut in half. So this is sa, same keyword, Solomon, Solomon. Slightly different representation, but we're still going to use this as the arm of King Solomon. So the first stroke will represent, again, the arm of King Solomon. And the second stroke represents a little dagger he's going to pull out to say, okay, let's cut the baby in half. Right? And then the third stroke is perhaps the dropping of the dagger along the baby, faking the about to kill the baby, wanting the real mother to yell out that no, don't kill the baby, give it to the other mother. It's not my baby, it's hers, and please let the baby live. Don't kill it. Sort of story. Good story, good morals and whatnot. Unless, of course, you took it to heart. But anyway, don't kill the baby if you end up yourself in a situation. Again, the purpose is to reveal the true mother. True mother, rather the baby live with another mother than to die. So, here we are, the dagger, sword, and then the last stroke represents the dropping of the dagger, trying to represent the final stroke before the true mother calls out. Right? That's Solomon. The arm, then the arm with the dagger, and then finally the bringing the stroke down dagger. What you can also see if you do this is almost like stroke in front of a long stroke in front of the character D. And if you want to, it also kind of looks like wa. Kind of, sort of, if you cheat a bit. Okay, with that out of the way, some words that use this character. Sa, da, sada. Di, saradi. Di, saradi. Ma, saradi ma. Saradi man. Salary. Now this means salaried man, a businessman, if you would, someone who works for a salary, not a wage slave, if you would. And the next word, sa. That's the voice mark. So sa, ka, saka, saka, and stretch it out. Ka, saka, saka, soccer, saka. Soccer. Very popular sport in Japan. Most other countries, even the U.S. is growing in the suburbs, if you would. Okay, so that is our sixth character. I'm sorry, this is the seventh character. A couple more to go, and let's go back, pause it, and go on to the next character. All right, seventh characters. Our eighth character that we covered. This is one of the last characters in the hiragana. It's also one of the last characters in the katakana. Now, in hiragana, if you don't remember, this was e. That was the ape in the yard took the puppy tail and used it to draw lines, and then practiced the characters for kana. In this case, the character katakana for, or hiragana for So e. Now a here we're going to use, it represents air. Okay, so here are the three strokes for air. First stroke represents the heavens. So you look above, there's the heavens, and then in between will represent the air itself, the surface of the air. So downward vertical stroke, air. That's the air in between. Then of course between the heavens and between the air is the heavens and the earth. So the third stroke will represent the earth itself, right? And there we have is air, air. Just to point out, if you looked at, again, like I was saying, these represent some other characters. So if you looked at yo, or I'm sorry, you, or yo, or ro, if I get the stroke orders correct. Again, very squared off character here, and distinctive, can look similar to these other characters, but due to the stories, can help you keep them separate. This is air, yo, you, yo, and yolk, and then ro eggs. Not raw eggs, but ro eggs, round eggs. Okay, some words that use this. Should be fun. E, de, ere, be, erebe. Stretch it out, so erebe, ta, erebeta, and then stretch it out, ta, erebeta, elevator, or elevator. Sort of like what happens when you mix Darth Vader with an elephant. You get an elevator. Or on another joke, has nothing to do with the elevator, what do you do when you mix a rhino with an elephant? Elephino. Okay, there are the kindergarten jokes out of the way. Laugh it up if you never heard those before or can't understand them. Go ahead, laugh it up anyway. Who cares? Anyway, elebeta. Another word, portmanteau, if you would, an abbreviation. E, a, ea, ko, ea ko, aircon, 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 air conditioner. The way Japanese like to abbreviate, they use maybe the first or two pronunciations of a word in their Japanese pronunciation, combine it with the first and second pronunciation of the second word and the third word, and they combine it that way. Unlike similar to the way the U.S. and English abbreviate, in that they'll take letters. In this case, they take pronunciations instead of just single letters, and whatever the pronunciation creates from there. There may be another this is done aircon, remocon, posocon. There are some words, I don't have a great large of sampling of them, but it is common. And these are times when these words, you're probably not going to understand what it means in English, even though it's based off an English word. Just be aware of them. It counts as legitimate Japanese words. You say these words, the Japanese will understand what you're saying. Okay, so those are two words. We're going to move on to the last character, then we go on to the voice marks and final thoughts. And there is our 8th character. The final character is complicated as far as katakana is concerned. Similar to the final character of hiragana was fu, which was complicated. However, in my opinion, once taught or once understood, you can write or understand it better than the average college student does taking its normal Japanese course, just because of the way it's introduced and explained. So the character here, you may or may not remember. Okay, that was a 7, so in front of the flag post was 7 dwarves running in 2 directions. And then, for some reason, one of the dwarves who worked at Outback Steakhouse took off its name tag, and tossed it at the wasp, or chasing them, and drove them off. So, that was the character for ne. In this case, in katakana, when you hear ne, think, instead of name tag, think naval disaster. and naval disasters such as the disaster of the Titanic, if it would. Okay, here are the strokes, and it's a story that represents the pictographics of the strokes. So the first stroke, let this represent the mast of the ship, the big thing rising out off the ship that holds the sails, or in this, maybe in modern times, communication towers. So that's the first stroke right there. Second stroke we're going to use represents the boat itself. Now, think of the boat sort of like the food bowl, in that it, from the Fu series of characters. And in this case, the Fu bowl is being used as a boat. So we're going to draw the Fu bowl. Okay, a bit more squared off instead of curved. The third stroke is going to represent what it runs into. It could represent the iceberg, or the island, or the rocks, or the reef, whatever. This boat's gonna run into something, because it's really hard to steer a boat that's essentially a food bowl. And that's the third stroke. All right, the final stroke is gonna represent the disaster itself. You've hit the rocks. The water is, I don't know why in an ocean the water is spilling out, but the water is spilling out of the boat. Or maybe it's representing the water seeping into the boat. Whatever. This third stroke is representing the water itself flowing into and out of the boat, right through this hole in the side of the boat. And that is ne. So it's the mast of the boat hits the reef and then springs a leak, and everything starts floating out. And floating in. So the boat's about to sink. Impending naval disaster. Ne. Some words that use this. Ne. Ma. Yo. Mayo. Ne. Mayone. Stretch it out, so mayone. That's su, but we're going to voice it, so zu. Mayonnaise. 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 Next word, a rather modern word, even by U.S. standards. I. In. In. Ta. Inta. Stretch it out, so inta. Here's our ne, so internet. Voice mark, so ne, internet. To. Internetto. 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 Internet. The internet. Okay, that's the final character. We'll pause, we'll go into the voice marks, and then from there we'll go into the final thoughts. Thank you, at least, for reaching this far. This is technically the last part of the book, after which he has the appendix of the a little bit of what I'm about to go over now. Alright, so that's the 9 characters of this lesson. That covers all the hiragana and katakana for all 12 lessons of James Hazig's Remembering the Kana. So U-boat, E, drop the E, ro, round, ro, eggs, yoke, the oxen yoke, tow rope, heel, the Solomon, air, a naval disaster. Same as before, you hear the pronunciation of the caret sound. From the sound, you think of the keyword. The keyword then helps you think of the character itself. And this happens with my students, where I say draw ro, and they draw a blank. Then I tell them the keyword, row eggs. Or I say ne, and they draw a blank. And then they say naval disaster, and then they draw the character, no problem. Because they've attached the naval disaster to how to draw the character, soon they attach the sound to the keyword to the drawing the character, and soon you can get rid of the keyword and the story altogether, and it's just the pronunciation and the character itself. That's the idea. We are using your ability of the adult brain to attach meaning and significance and odd visual imagery to this abstract concept we're calling writing. Alright, and we've covered all these characters. And like I've said before, when you're doing your practicing, draw out this little chart and think of the little sounds thing I said. So instead of doing the ga, do the a, ka, sa, ta, and then go down here, na, ha, ma, ya, ra, wa, and then across this a, I, u, e, o. So you got a quick chart. And then what you do is quickly go through and fill in all the characters. right? And if you don't know a character, put a circle where that character should be and keep going, right? So do this quickly. And then if you want to, then do the voice marks. So do the ga, za, da, and then for the ha, then do the ba and the pa. And then fill those in. So papi pupe po, babi bube bo, zazi zuzezo, tachi tsu teto, sashi suseso. Write them in. Do the pronunciation. Then if you want to, also on that a little bit is dealing with the diphthongs. So there you got the kyo, the gyo, the kyo, q, kyo, kya, q, kyo, gya, gu, gyo, sha, shu, sho, ja, ju, jo, cha, chu, cho, nya, nyu, nyo, hya, hu, hyo, pya, bu, byo, pya, pu, pyo, mya, mu, myo, ya, yu, yo. Alright, just go through it. Fill her in. Okay, and from there you have kind of like all the characters that normal Japanese produces. Then there's these characters that I talked upon yesterday. Let me do a paste real quick, right? And let's see, what does it got to do? Right. So we already did these first two characters. So we did the already kind of stretched out. If you had this is the u, but if you voiced it, it then becomes vu. And then you can kind of cheat like it was showing up here. Add the little right here for the a that becomes va, and then vi, or ve, or vo. And then over here was the fu. So this becomes the fa, or the fi, or the fe, or the fo, depending on what you put in the middle of it. Alright, now what we're going to do is touch on this right here. This is, I don't think is as complicated. It's the sa, so don't worry. I think this one just means that we don't have a TSA pronunciation. We got tsu and a shi. This would be the sa. I don't know. I've never heard it used, but it's just the shi. So you see the shi there, and then you see the little small ah. So sa, sa. Actually, that's a su. Sorry, that's a su and the ah. So sa. And this right here for T. If you ever heard the I saw from previous the city bus, the city bus. This is a T. So it's a te with the e character. So te. Same thing. We don't have a tu in Japanese. So we're gonna cheat. We're gonna take the to right there. And we're gonna add this u diphthong. So tu, to, almost like saying to, tu. So the same as te, e, ti, ti, tu. And this is su, e. So it's become the se. And this is su, o, so. And then lastly, if we got the te, e, then we have a de, e, or d. So this would be the de. So te, voice is de. And then we add the e, d. Same thing, we have the do, so to, do, add the diphthong. This becomes u, do, u, do. T, t, tu, d, do. T, tu, d, do. And from there, we're pretty much are done. And that would be the end of Remembering the Kana by James Hayes. So again, you gave me 6 hours, about half hour per lesson. This has been going on for I've been recording this on and off over the last 6 months. So I apologize for that. This could have all been done in a week if I had bothered. Fortunately, I think because I've taught a few classes prior in the interim while I was recording these lessons, I got to learn some other tricks of how to teach a character, and sort of like the lessons of the u, which is instead of it being the Tale of Two Cities, it was ooh la la. So that was the kind of like the little stickies or whatnot on the breast of a dancer, burlesque dancer, and on our tsu breast. So that would become ooh la la, just to again represent one change that I had. And hopefully on these changes I make mention of these. To again, I think improves on the books. Even though I'm trying to say about improving on the books, I think that the purchase, if you have gone through the series, please take it into consideration of purchasing the books from Amazon.com. On the links I provide, they're not one of those links that link back to me that I'm aware of. All I do is do a Google search, see that, take away all the things that looks like a person identifier that says it linked from this page or whatnot. So again, these are directly linked to Amazon, or you can go to if you're in Japan, and you go to a Daimar or a local bookstore, and likely this will be there, or a lot of the Japanese bookstores in the U.S. I'm sure if in the foreign book section this book may be available, University of Hawaii Press. However you feel it, but I think it's worth it to purchase it. In that, again, if you found that you were able to learn this that simply, it's worth it to do the purchase, to recognize how beneficial this was to you. Same thing when you get to the other parts of Japanese. When you realize that how beneficial something has been, recognize it with a purchase, if you can. If you can go any further, make donations, especially for things that could be of use, such as the Anki program. And I'm not sure of the other programs that were available from here, but again, you're going to run into other programs or websites or techniques that were developed by persons, and you can recognize it through either purchase or through adding or giving back. Another way you give back is to help teach others to do Japanese. Once you get better at Japanese, take what little you know that's in great excess of what someone else already knows. So you know so little. However, that is still much greater. You're the one-eyed man in the valley of the blind. In that, so that you know so much, use that ability, use that technique to teach another person, to bring them up to your level while you are exceeding and improving upon your level. So I'm not that great at Japanese. I'm not that great at reading or writing or speaking. However, from the little knowledge and ability that I have, I think I can bring that and teach others up to a certain point, and that's what I'm doing now. And that's how I give back, based on what because I haven't learned on my own. No one ever learns on their own. Right. You either learn from somebody else, or you learn from a book, you learn from the internet, you learn from a combination. Either way, give back to what you have gotten, if you can. And I find that's the best way in which society as a whole can develop. Okay, let me get back off the high horse on that one. We are done. We have completely filled in this. We've covered all the dipthongs, covered all the characters. Hopefully from just each lesson you can learn all the characters. And from here, again, the idea was I would go on to learn very basic kanji. First 500 characters sounds like a lot, but it can be learned in a reasonable amount of time, same as this, about 15-20 characters per hour. But again, that's a lot of hours to develop, but it's just a drop in the bucket if you are truly and honestly interested in learning Japanese to a functional level. I'm not saying being fluent, I'm saying functional, in that you use Japanese to have either some type of enjoyment, do some type of work in that language. And I think in that, at least by that definition, I am functional. And to get to that level, you do have to learn kanji. You have to learn some vocabulary words, you have to learn some grammar, and you have to get used to listening and reading at a native pace. You got to get used to it. Sorry, you can't just be stuck with student guides forever. Okay? That's covered in all the other lessons. Based on this, I really went over time. I apologize. I think we're at 24 or 36 minutes. So I'll stop here. Please enjoy. Hopefully I'll add in more videos to this. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye. And this will be Nuke Marine signing out.